Hello, Life Vantage. This is Darren Jensen coming to you live from, as I always say, the Southern Command Center here, otherwise known as my home office in Mapleton, Utah. And it's another beautiful summer day here. Hopefully it's a beautiful day wherever you're at. And today is a continuation of our Movers and Shakers series. And I'm really excited because today we have one of our a couple who is one of our top 5 global influencers that we had on one of our recent promotions. And the cool thing is they didn't even know that the promotion was going on, and they still were in the top 5 globally. And that's Rich and Tippy Petrus, and we're glad to have them with us today. And before we talk to them and go officially meet them, let me read to you a little bit about their bio. So they're Bro 7s, and Dr. Rich is a naturopath, and he and Tippy have been married for 48 years. So congratulations on that. And they've been owners of a natural supplement business for over 30 years in West Virginia. In addition, Rich was a teacher and public school administrator for 35 years, while Tippy was in sales and customer service in the retail industry. A few years ago, they both retired from their professions, intending to enjoy the benefits of retirement. However, next to faith and family, helping people achieve their maximum health potential has always been their passion. Almost 3 years ago, they came out of retirement to continue doing just that after being introduced to Pro Tandem by their friends Steve and Renee Price. So with that, Rich and Tippy, welcome. Glad to have you on our podcast today.
Thank you. Wonderful to be here. Thank you for this opportunity.
Well, congratulations on Pro 7, and I know that you're working on Pro 8, so that's exciting. And 48 years of marriage. Congratulations on that. That's awesome.
Well, thank you very much for that,
it
for
does
sure.
Fly by.
You're coming up on the big 50, or the big 50. Now, they call that the golden anniversary, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Well, congratulations.
Yep. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, guys, you know, I thought it was really interesting that you were in the top 5 global influencers, and you didn't even know that the promotion was going on. So shame on us that you didn't know that there was a promotion. Congratulations to both of you for just out of your regular daily things that you do for qualifying for it. And that's really incredible. So before we get into the questions of really how you did that, and that'll be one of our first questions, let's first get to know you a little bit better. I read your bio, but now tell us the real story about, just tell us a little bit about the two of you. How can we get to know you better?
Well, I don't know. We're pretty simple people, and we like to help people. That's what we've done most of our life. And this just kind of happened, that this was an opportunity to continue what we had done for so long, and have freedom and flexibility while doing it and still enjoy retirement. We just worked really hard, and we're just real simple people, originally from Pennsylvania, been in West Virginia all our married life. So didn't think we were going to do that. Thought we were heading back to Pittsburgh, but here we are. I guess it's where the good Lord wanted us.
And, to add to that, Darren, people work their whole lifetime to retire. And we looked so much forward to that. And I remember it to this day. We drove to Charleston, West Virginia in July 31st of 2013. I signed my final papers.
2013?
2013,
okay.
when I retired.
Oh, retirement. Okay.
Retired, and they time-stamped everything, and we started driving home, and I looked at Tippy and I said, I'm retired. And isn't that wonderful? And, and we just thought, well, this is great.
I took up golfing. We were on the golf course. We were having a good old time.
We like going to the beach. We enjoy going to church, being involved in church, and just helping people and having friends and so on. And then Steve and Renee, they just kept subtly saying something to us, and that's how it started. And then from there, it was like, we've got to start sharing the good news about Pro Tandem, and because if we don't do that, people are not going to know. And that's kind of really how it started. We've been servants our whole life. And this is just the perfect venue, the perfect opportunity, the perfect company with the perfect products to be a servant to people who are in need.
That's great. And so I'm assuming that's one of your whys. What drives you? Is that your principal why, just to help people, or what's the goal? Because you said that you were in retirement, so you came out of retirement to do this. What's the why? What's the driver behind that?
Well, we looked. It was the science. I mean, as a naturopathic doctor, that's where I hung my hat on, the science. And a lot of things, when we owned a supplement business, so there's a lot of information about supplements, but the efficacy clearly isn't there. And when I started, and we then started looking at the science, the original information that Steve and Renee sent to us, it was like, this is a no-brainer. We have got to come out of retirement because everybody needs these formulas. They absolutely need them. They are so much different than supplements, and we've got to tell people that these are available. So that was the why. That was the driving force.
It's still the why, I think.
Yep, it's still the why.
Still the why.
Okay. Well, it's been a powerful why, because it's gotten you to be one of the top 5 global influencers. And again, congratulations. For most people who are watching today, they're probably fairly new in the business. I'm assuming that each of you out there are fairly new and wondering, okay, so here's Rich and Tippy, and they're experiencing a lot of success. How can I bring that into my life? How can I incorporate some of the things that they're doing to help me be successful? So what did you guys do to really become one of the top global influencers, and also, to reach elite ranks? What are some suggestions you could give us?
One thing I want to say is that because we were in retirement, we wanted to protect that a little bit, to have enough time to enjoy ourselves and do what we wanted to do. So we kind of relegated our business to 3 days a week. So we concentrate on LifeVantage first thing in the morning, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursdays. We try and take care of all the getting in touch with our distributors, our customers, whoever needs help. And we try and combine that into 3 days so that we still have retirement time, so to speak. So I think that was important to me, because you can get so involved in trying to help people that it does kind of take over your whole life. So I just want to say that was important to me. Whether that works for anybody else or not, I'm not sure.
And to add to that, it's not like we weren't available any other day, except for Sunday. That is our time. That's our time with the Lord on that day. But so we set that apart. But on other days, we were available by appointment only. And we do a lot of appointments, and especially now, people are in need and they want to discuss things with us, and they want direction, and they want enough knowledge, scientific knowledge, to make a good, qualified decision on advancing and going forward with good decisions for their life. So that's kind of how we do it, and we just support everybody in every way that we can, especially our distributors, and we try to lead by example and try to teach people to do it the way we do, using a system. But if we can just get people to take the products there, most of the time people see a difference. And I have found in my profession that if they would call or say to us, well, gee, I don't know, I've been taking the product for this time or that amount of time, and I don't see a difference. I have found that medically there's always a reason, and that's what I help them with. And once they got through the semantics of doing things correctly with the way this is supposed to be done, then they get on the right track. So success breeds success, and people that are successful and they take the product and they're consumers of the product. When they do well, they tell others, and it just grows. It's like becomes like a snowball rolling down a mountainside.
So, looking at growing your business, the last several months have been kind of crazy. And I know that before we started recording, we were talking about, how warm it is there in West Virginia, like, and very humid, and everybody's now got to wear masks, and that's very difficult to do in the weather. And, considering the crazy year 2020 that we've had, have you had any shifts or changes in your business? How have you modified, I guess, pre-COVID to now into this COVID environment? Have you made any shifts that might be applicable to other groups that they should consider?
To be honest, Darren, we really haven't changed much, because the thrill of this business is you can work from home. It's flexible. And so, wouldn't you say, Rich?
Yeah, and our message has always been the same. It's kind of like our vision is to help one person at a time to be as healthy as they can be. Okay, and for as long as they can be, and that's, life is precious. So that's just what we kept doing. So we just continue to use the same approach and the same message and just do the same things. It was just kind of more of it because from the field in our 3 organizations, there were more referrals. So we just kept speaking the same message, doing the same thing, sharing the science of this most valuable nutrigenomic approach, because it is different. And so the thing that we changed was that we probably tried to be a little more available every day of the week except for Sunday during this crucial time. That was probably, we did everything else the same, but our availability was, we were more available.
I would definitely agree that really in this time period that people do focus a lot more in general on wellness, and they want to be as healthy as possible, as long as possible, complete agreement. And, in times of spiking unemployment, people are also looking for potentially additional streams of income to help support their families. So I can see why your referrals in people interested are ticking up. How did you communicate with the people? Do you primarily do that in your case face-to-face, or are you using like a Zoom or electronics, some cyber way of communicating with them? How do you normally do a prospect and maybe do some initial trainings?
Well, it's interesting because our field, our partners in this business kind of generate for us what it is that we do and how we do it, if that makes sense. And I'll qualify that a little bit. We do live conference calls where I'll go on and Tippy's there with me, and we'll teach a little bit of the science and then open up and let people ask questions. We do Zoom calls and Skype calls for distributors that want them done. And I will do consultations. I do a lot of them. And we are just, and so when people are out there that are our partners and we try to teach them how to do this as simply as possible, a lot of people are afraid to say whatever they feel they need to say, and they don't feel qualified to do it. So we tried to teach people to find a good, solid scientific link about the company and especially for Tandem NRF2. But when they would run into an issue with someone who was so interested, so compelled by the science that they had a question that they couldn't answer, then they 3-way into us. And then if distributors have questions about the back office and issues of that nature, that's where Tippy comes in. She does all of that. So we kind of tag team, but not kind of, I mean, that's exact. She has her areas of expertise and I have mine. And we just do what we do both together as a team. And it works very well, but we try to keep it simple. We try to, the message is the same all the time. You know, if you're a consumer of the product, you're going to see the benefit. The science is going to kick in. And that's what people have to hang their hats on. And it's works. That's why we came out of retirement, because this simply works for everyone.
I think
I like,
Darren went, I'm sorry.
I like what you're saying, how like you focus on certain areas and Tippy focuses on other areas. How do you guys work together as a couple? Because, you know, we have a lot of great couples as distributors in the business. How does that relationship, or how does that business work with you two? How do you guys do that?
I think maybe you should start. Rich talks with prospects via an appointment set up by distributor, or just because a customer knows somebody that wants more information. And then he offers the opportunity of becoming a customer. He takes down their information, and I just then immediately take that and get on the computer and help him set up an account. And then I shoot off a welcome letter to every customer, tell them what the company telephone number is, etc. Let them know we're available if they have any questions.
How to get into their back office.
How to get into their back office. But we are always available if they need help and support with that. And the same with distributorship. When we sign up a distributor, he's usually the one that takes the initial information, passes it on to me. I do the computer work, and then I shoot off an email to them with, the comp plan highlights, how to get into their back office, just things that, basic information to help them get going. And then they call us if they need any more help or clarification, and they do. A lot of questions. And so I do the computer work, the customer service work, so to speak, and he talks to people about the products, the science, and takes the information to get them started, right?
Mm-hmm.
Am I right?
That's correct.
Okay.
Sounds like a great way of doing business. So, as I mentioned, with everybody watching, so many are just getting started in the business or might be new. If you had to give one piece of advice to help people achieve success today in LifeVantage, what would that one piece of advice be?
Be a consumer of the product. That's big. I mean, I find it would be hard to share something that you don't really believe in. And, that's my biggest motivating factor is I believe so much in the science. And I tell people, please look at the science.
Well, yeah, and it's true. I mean, so many times, Darren, when we were in the business and working full time in my profession, and Tippy right there helping me all the way through all of that, we did that for like 30 years. There was no supplemental approach that was effective for everyone, and it made it very difficult for us to determine a person's need and change and continue to test and retest and so on. We feel so strongly about the science related to the nutrigenomic formulas that LifeVantage has made available to everyone. If a person will just simply start taking the formulas and utilize the nutrigenomic approach, then they're going to see that this is completely different than anything else that's out there, and it works, and it's wonderful. And it's the two things that we hear, this is what I've been looking for years and years and years, or more often than not, this is an answer to my prayer, after they start consuming the product on a regular basis. That's the key. Start consuming the product.
I would agree. It all starts with product and the use of it, and having a great experience. So, well, guys, thank you for joining us today. I still have one more question, but I'll pose the question really quick, and then I'll say a few words while you think about it. If you had to give one piece of advice, not related to LifeVantage or business, or it can be, or it doesn't have to be, that might bring greater joy or success or peace into our lives, and something that we could all implement today, just something simple that we could do today to better our lives, what would that be? So while you're thinking of that, let me just tell everybody, thank you for joining us today. It's been a pleasure to have you. It's always a pleasure to have everyone here watching us and really hearing from great leaders that are out moving and shaking and growing their businesses. And Rich and Tippy definitely are those movers and shakers. Again, top 5 in our global influencer promotion. So it's been a pleasure having them on today. So guys, that final question, what would you recommend? What's one thing to bring peace or happiness or whatever to our lives?
For me personally, it's just making sure that you take that quiet time. Some people call it meditation. You know, there's various ways to do that and things to get into as far as reading. But for me, if you can't get away for a while and get yourself balanced and centered and peaceful, I have a hard time moving on with the day. There's a lot of confusion, so that would be mine. And getting out, and I like to do it outside if I can, nature.
And Darren, we are believers, we are Christians, and that's ultimately important to us. And people watch us. I mean, people are watching. I mean, and even our distributors and our customers, they're watching how we do things and what we do and what we say. So, I would simply say, folks, be a servant, and ultimately, treat people like you want to be treated. That's the golden rule. I mean, if everybody, watching the current events today and what's unfolding in our country, if every single person would just treat others like they want to be treated, then I think everybody could sit down and have a dialogue and accept our differences and forge forward and be successful, and things would be a lot better off than they are today. So that would be where I would come from. Simply treat others in a fair and equitable manner, especially treat them like you would like to be treated.
Amen.
Yeah, no, both great suggestions. It reminds me of a conversation I was just having, just the other day with a couple of my kids. I've got 5 kids, and I said, with so many people are feeling a heavy load on them today, because there's so much stress and change.
Yeah.
And I said, for me, what I have found is when I feel that load, if I go out and serve somebody else,
Amen.
then you can see the loads on other people. And then I get a different perspective on my own load. Mm-hmm. And I know that I tend to forget about my load, that whatever's on my shoulders, when you're out serving somebody. And I find that my level of kindness goes up dramatically when I'm doing that. And in today's world, there's too little of kindness out there. I think so I really like the suggestion of focusing on being kind to others and serving other people. And Tippy, I like your suggestion too. I know every day, that's part of my day, whether it's, always reading from the scriptures. We're very religious. And so as a family, we study, and personally, but finding that quiet time to be mindful and reflect and think about what's going on. As I've listened to some other podcasts of people, and these are like surgeons and brain surgeons, and they were asked, what's 3 things that I could do to bring the greatest improvement to my life and health? And every single one that I've listened to, and this is on like Bulletproof Radio, the Bulletproof ones, almost every single one that they ask that question state, be mindful, that if you meditate, it's one of the best things you can do to improve your life. So I think you guys gave us some really great suggestions that we can do today. So thank you for joining us, and thank everybody out there too for joining us. It's been a pleasure. And guys, keep up the good work. I know you're working on Pro 8. I know that you're going to hit it. And so I'll tell you congratulations beforehand. Is there a month that you're targeting in particular?
No.
We're real close, Darren. We're real close. So every month we're thinking, could this be the month? Could this be the month?
But we're not motivated to be Pro 8.
Right.
We're just going to keep doing what we've been doing all this time, and it's going to happen just like being a top 5 influencer. Just do what we know is important. Share these very vital, important products in this great company with people, because if we don't share it, they're not going to know. And it'll happen. It's going to happen quickly, soon. And we'll be very, very, very thankful when that occurs.
All right. Well, thank you guys. It's been a pleasure. It's good meeting you. And thanks everybody for joining us today. It's been a pleasure. We'll see you later. Bye.
Bye-bye.